Let's go live.
Live. Settle in, people. Spread the show around. Uh-oh.
Spread it around.
There we go.
What happened?
Yeah, we're back. Should have done a blog talk too.
No, that place is a waste.
Oh, it's such a dump. Oh, we got our first chatter, so why don't we go ahead and introduce it? Okay, people. Well, that was a rough intro. Let's exit. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. You are listening to Transparency and Merit. My name's Joe. I'm here with Brian, and we're talking on flu shots tonight, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Now,
I got my flu shot last year. Mm-hmm. Just before actually October, and I don't think you followed suit, Joe.
No. How many years in a row have you done the flu shot?
You know what? Ever since I have been a diabetic, it is recommended that every year I get the flu shot, and I follow that recommendation. And they even recommend it for people who don't have diabetes, that it's good for you, and it's recommended.
Oh, I wish I had known that before the show. I would have had the perfect link, but I've got plenty here. I, for the record, have never received a flu shot ever. I don't intend to. I never will. But you seem to have some support. And
yes.
So we're going to
clearing your throat because you probably have you ever had bronchitis?
Well, I had a nasty flu actually at the end of December, and I got what everybody got. I did have a cold, and in fact, it's still kind of lingering. But yeah, I know I finally feel good. It did take me a couple weeks, and it was not a fun cold, but didn't lay me out. I still got around, but I was still got a little bit of the remnants of the cold or flu or whatever the heck it was. But I, for the record, have never had the flu. The flu shot. I have had the flu, and you have had it at least what would you say, 8, 10 times?
You know, I've gotten it less just due to the fact that I do take the flu shot, and I haven't gotten since I've been for the last 3 years I've been really proactive in getting my flu shot. That's the one thing about my health that I can say that I really stick with is getting the flu shot, and it's worked well for me. I don't have a strong medical background or anything like that. I just listen to my doctor's advice, and much of the medical field is in favor of the flu shot and in vaccinations. So I actually have 2 videos. The one video I'd like to, not the TED Talk one, but the UCLA one.
Okay. I think you wanted to start off with a video from TED Talks, and I disagreed because I feel that TED Talks is kind of a talking piece for the mainstream media, and it's kind of hidden in a way. A lot of people presume that TED Talks is giving legitimate, strong advice, and I'm so anti-media that there's no chance. I think that TED Talks are so biased, so I doubt that anything that they would offer up would be of any real concern. But should we do the second one, or do you still want to do the TED Talks one?
Let's do the TED Talk one, and then we'll do the second one.
We'll do the second one, then I'll rebut that with a video that I have, and I'll play that after. Let's see here. Here it is.
All year long, researchers at hundreds of hospitals around the world collect samples from flu patients and send them to top virology experts with one goal: to design the vaccine for the next flu season. But why do we need a new one every year? Vaccines for diseases like mumps and rubella offer a lifetime of protection with 2 shots early in life. What's so special about the flu? 2 factors make the flu a tough target. First, there are more than 100 subtypes of the influenza virus, and the ones in circulation change from season to season. And second, the flu's genetic code allows it to mutate more quickly than many other viruses. The flu spreads by turning a host's own cells into viral production factories. When the virus is engulfed by a host cell, it expels its genetic material, which makes its way to the nucleus. There, cellular machinery that normally copies the host's genes starts replicating viral genes instead, creating more and more copies of the virus. New viruses are repackaged and crammed into the cell until it bursts, sending freshly minted influenza viruses out to infect additional cells. Most viruses follow this script. The trick with the flu is that its genetic material isn't DNA, but a similar compound called RNA. And RNA viruses can mutate much faster. When cells synthesize DNA, a built-in proofreader recognizes and corrects mistakes, but the RNA synthesis mechanism doesn't have this failsafe. If errors creep in, they stick around, creating new variants of the virus. Why is this a problem? Because vaccines depend on recognition. The flu vaccine includes some of the same substances, called antigens, found on the surface of the virus itself. The body identifies those fragments as foreign and responds by producing compounds called antibodies, tailor-made to match the antigens. When a vaccinated person encounters the actual virus, the pre-programmed antibodies help the immune system identify the threat and mobilize quickly to prevent an infection. Those antigens are different for every strain of influenza. If vaccination has prepared the immune system for one strain, a different one may still be able to sneak by. Even within the same strain of flu, those rapid genetic mutations can change the surface compounds enough that the antibodies may not recognize them. To make things even more complicated, sometimes 2 different strains combine to create an entirely new hybrid virus. All of this makes vaccinating for the flu like trying to hit a moving, transforming target. That's why scientists are constantly collecting data about which strains are circulating and checking to see how much those strains have mutated from previous year's versions. Twice annually, the World Health Organization pulls together experts to analyze all that data, holding one meeting for each hemisphere. The scientists determine which strains to include in that season's vaccine, picking 4 for the quadrivalent vaccine in use today. In spite of the flu's evasive maneuvers, in recent years the group's predictions have been almost always correct. Even when flu strains mutate further, the vaccine is often close enough that a vaccinated person who catches the flu anyway will have a milder and shorter illness than they would otherwise. Vaccination also helps protect other people in the community who may not be medically eligible for the shot by preventing those around them from carrying the virus. This is called herd immunity. The flu shot can't give you the flu. It contains an inactivated virus that isn't capable of making you sick. You might feel tired and achy after getting it, but that's not an infection. It's your normal immune response to the vaccine. Some parts of the world use, instead of a shot, an inhaled vaccine that contains a weakened live virus. This is also safe for the vast majority of people. Only those with impaired immune systems would be at risk, but they're typically not given live vaccines. Meanwhile, scientists are working to develop a universal flu vaccine that would protect against any strain, even mutated ones. But until then, the hunt for next year's vaccine is on. Did you enjoy this lesson?
No, I didn't. Give me a break. Oh, come on. What a bunch of horse crap.
What? What, are you kidding me?
So
that was
they're saying
completely informative. Dude.
According to them, there's scientists in 4 hemispheres of the world who come up with, we got this strain, and they come together and give us a quadrivalent shot of these antigens, and that only work maybe the numbers vary so vastly. The numbers vary from anywhere from 10% to, I've heard, maybe 30 to 40% at the most. I've heard maybe 40%, but I don't believe that for a second. A lot of people are fighting back, though. They want to have a choice, and it seems like that, there's a clear delineation between getting a flu shot and the whole anti-vax and vaccination argument, in my view. Mainly because you can go to any Rite Aid or CVS, and while you're shopping, they'll hawk you you can get a free flu shot at Rite Aid or CVS, one of the two. I'm not sold on it, and the effectiveness of it is first of all, the flu death numbers are incredibly exaggerated. There's been a lot of articles on it. And anyways, without getting too into the numbers, did you have another video that you were thinking of?
Well, I want to say there is incentive. I guess it's free. The government does pay for it, and maybe maybe it's all a scam. I've taken it, though. I just speak from personal experience. I've been consistent on it for 3 years, and I've gotten a cold, but I haven't gotten a flu. So I think it's working for me. So let's get one more video, and this is from UCLA. I think they're UCLA Medical Center, and this is the video they've done on the flu shot.
All right. I'm just going to wait for this ad to go through. And
yes.
You got Stabby in there supporting you.
Yeah.
Oop, we got another commercial here.
It's not the same TED Talk, is it?
Oh, it is, yeah.
All year.
Yeah, both those links were the same.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you do.
No, you're wrong.
I just clicked it
Wait a
again.
minute.
Same. Yeah, they're the same. Maybe you should stop. Maybe you should stop getting that flu shot. Maybe it's making you dumb.
Yeah. Let me go back onto that. Here we go again. I thought Here we go. Okay, this is. Let me just put this link in there. This is from UCLA Health.
The British Medical Journal stated in 2005 that the U.S. data on influenza deaths are a mess. But we'll get to that a little bit after that. So here's you got your link. Let's play that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this looks like it's better.
It begins with you, UCLA Health.
Flu vaccine myths and facts.
Hello, I'm Jenny Spiso, president of UCLA Health. Around this time of year, we hear a lot of different reasons why people don't get the flu vaccine.
I've actually had the flu shot before, and it made me feel awful. I think it actually
cause the flu.
Well, aren't some vaccines dangerous?
I never get the flu. I never get the shot. Why would I want to be vaccinated now?
I just don't think it works.
In reality, most of these reasons have no basis in truth. What is true is that in order for the flu vaccine to work most effectively and truly protect our community of patients and each other, we all need to get vaccinated. So let's set the record straight about the most common reasons why some people are reluctant to get the flu vaccine.
You don't think it works. It takes about 2 weeks after vaccination for antibodies to develop in the body and provide protection against the influenza virus. In the meantime, you are still at risk for getting the flu. And you can also get respiratory illnesses that are not the flu virus. That's why it's best to get vaccinated early in the fall before the flu season really gets underway.
You've never gotten the flu shot and you've never had the flu. If you get a flu shot, you will protect the people around you. Remember that if you are infected with the flu, you will be contagious for about 2 days before you experience any symptoms. By the time you start to feel ill, you may have already infected your grandparents, your neighbor's newborn baby, or the pregnant woman you gave your seat to on the bus. You may get lucky and have a mild case, but if you'd had your flu shot, you probably wouldn't have passed the disease on to those vulnerable people around you. After all, even if you've never been in a car accident, you still wear your seatbelt.
You got the flu shot one year and you think it actually gave you the flu. You cannot get the flu from the flu vaccine. There are
I don't buy that either. I don't believe that the flu shot gives flus.
2 possible explanations why you may have thought that you could. First, you might have been infected by another respiratory
Look at this guy's nose.
virus soon after getting your vaccination. The vaccination won't protect you from other viruses, but those viruses are also unlikely to cause severe complications. Secondly, you might feel a little run down after getting vaccinated because your immune system is doing its job and building antibodies against the virus. These vaccines work by stimulating your immune system to attack certain parts of the surface of the virus. The flu vaccine cannot give you the flu. The real flu would be far worse.
You heard vaccines are dangerous. Flu vaccines have been given for more than 50 years, and they have a very good safety track record. Flu vaccines are made the same way each year, and their safety is closely monitored by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention and the Food and Drug Administration. We give over 120 million doses a year in the United States and carefully review the safety.
You're afraid of needles. The very minor pain of a flu shot is nothing compared to the suffering that can be caused by the flu. The flu can make you very sick for several days, send you to the hospital, or worse. Either way, a shot can prevent you from catching the flu. So whatever discomfort you feel from the minor side effects of the flu vaccine is worthwhile to avoid getting the flu and spreading the flu to your friends, family, and patients.
You just don't have the time. First, we have made it easier than ever to get the flu vaccine. From large-scale events at the beginning of the flu season to readily available appointments at our occupational health facility. Second, if you do get the flu, you'll be out sick far longer than it takes to get a flu shot.
Enough people get the flu shot, so I don't have to. This is simply not true. The fact is, the vaccination rate nationwide is well below what it needs to be to protect the community. And therefore, you can still get exposed to the influenza virus outside the hospital and bring it to our patients. Flu prevention begins with you. This is your health. It's your responsibility.
There may be other reasons why you or someone you know chooses not to get the flu vaccine. The bottom line is, when you choose not to vaccinate, it could have a direct effect on you, your coworkers, and our patients and families. Every year, an estimated 36,000 Americans die because of the flu. So please, help all of us out and get vaccinated today.
All right, there you go.
Will you be now, are you going to schedule that trip to your pharmacy and get yourself a nice little flu shot?
Nobody from UCLA can convince me to go get that flu shot. I've just read too many exaggerated reports. The CDC, especially when you look into the CDC's death they do the counts for the death tolls, and they try to separate them out, and they suggest that there's a huge number of Americans that were hospitalized, and eventually, I guess 36,000 were reported to have died of the flu. And this is from an older article now, of about 4 or 5 years, but the CDC counted all deaths caused by pneumonia as likely influenza-related deaths. So there's just a lot of exaggerated reports, a lot of fear-mongering, and from my perspective, I think it's a whole lot of fear porn ideas put into our heads. Now, I also have a video of a retired hospital worker and gives her flu shot speech before the CDC advisory committee. Can we hear that right now?
Let's hear it.
I'll try to talk fast. I don't come here with any degree. I come here as the public. I live locally. You are our one and all. I'm going to start with a quote by William Wilberforce. And he stated, "You can choose to look away, but you can never say you don't know again." I just retired from a local hospital here. No one believes in the flu shots. My colleagues, I didn't. Because the efficacy, and I won't give you data, you created the data. 10% one year, 18% the next, 40% at best. The flu mist you gave to our children from 2 to 8 years, for almost 4 years, it never worked. 3%, oh well. You know, I worked in a hospital where my colleagues, doctors and nurses and medical assistants and patient care and lab, we didn't believe in the flu shot. We were probably at 40%. And then came your mandates. And then came your recommendations. So you know what? For 4 years before I retired, I put a mask on, 12-hour shifts. It wasn't easy to breathe. But that's how much I didn't believe in your efficacy. My colleagues didn't believe in it either, but some of them couldn't wear that mask for 12 hours. So in the beginning, they said, "I'm just getting the shot. I can't wear the mask." But in the truth, the public's truth, my observation, which is the first step in scientific theory, they didn't believe in your shot. This year, I retired. I'm grateful for that because my soul was sick at what I saw go on. That flu shot was crazy. At first, it was 10%. How can you do data? Which 10 got the shot out of 100? Then it was 30. And then you get up here today and make new implications on our children and combine 4. Really? You govern globally and this country. I'm glad I'm retired now because now I can talk to you. Because you know what? While I worked, I couldn't. Because if I did, conflict of interest, I would have lost my job. That's truth. A lot of my colleagues did lose their jobs. I was one of the few hospitals in this city that allowed us to mask. I can name 5 hospitals that don't. Goodbye, pink slip, no flu shot. How did I survive 20 years and never get the flu in that environment? ER, high volume. Was I not on the front lines? Every flu case, 300 people a day. Every flu case, it was me. I never had the flu. You know why? I knew how to wash my hands. I knew how to take vitamin D. I knew how to take elderberry syrup. I don't approve of your flu shot. Now you have pharmacists giving it. You bribe us with cards at Target and you tell us this is free and it's everywhere and get it. They're scare tactics and you should be ashamed. And then I will end because I do want my colleagues, the other moms that know what the CDC doesn't do for us. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he fights for us. He does. He goes to court for us, for our kids that suffered. I'm looking around. Some of you are my age. And if I'm mistaken, I apologize. But I'm in a generation where I got 7 shots. 26 years later, my daughter got 10. Her son got probably 60. My new grandson's expected to get 72, and I just watched you add more. I'm appalled. My Robert Kennedy Jr., you know what he says? His family started Special Olympics. There were no autistic kids. He says that where the 40-year-olds wearing diapers with helmets on at the mall, if you misdiagnose them, if you miss them, because you say they're not vaccines, that they missed them. Where were the special ed classes when people with my generation, there weren't any, because they didn't exist. That's what he says. Do you know, and it's truth, but you know what's going to happen? I have a 10-year-old grandson, and I don't care what you say, that the autism and vaccines don't exist. It does, because I watched it perfectly.
All right, well, it gets a little dogmatic at the end there, but the point's made. Part of the problem is even the doctors don't believe in the flu vaccines, but I don't know. Yeah.
You know what? Shit. I can't. Damn it.
What happened?
Hold on here. I can't. I gotta. Hold on. I gotta.
Uh-oh. Hello there, Angela. Welcome.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic without flu shot.
Well, we were just talking about the flu shot, and Brian and I disagree on it. He's going for a flu shot. He seems to be convinced by the UCLA video, and he's watching stuff on the internet. And as well as I know that the truth is very difficult to, if you're going to do a quick search on the internet about whether you should get the flu shot or not, you're going to have a tough time finding, deciphering real information from potentially bad information. Where do you come from on the? Are you there?
I think
all kinds of bad connections. I can't get Mr. Midnight Movie back in either. Brian is down.
Do you want to call him back and get him first, man?
You know what? Let me hang up and then I'll call you back in. All right. I'm sorry, people. It seems like Skype doesn't want us talking about this. So, what can we do? So I'm going to try to call in Brian again. Oftentimes I find these very polarized.
The person whom you're trying to reach.
Oh boy, I find these very polarized. Oh, he has to reboot. What I'm finding is a lot of these polarized issues are very difficult. They've got people pitted against each other, and it's what's going on is there is a lot of information. Okay, you're there.
Sorry, I had to reboot. Now, Angela,
I noticed that. Hold on, we can bring her in.
Is calling? Yeah, let's bring her because she is an anti-vaxxer. I'm going to ask her if she has gotten the flu shot.
Yeah, I was just saying that it's very hard for people in this day to go and find really accurate information because, for example, and there's so many articles. Oh yeah, well, if that's what's going on, who cares? Yeah, I don't really care about that stuff. But yeah, there are a lot of. Yeah, what's up, Debbie? Damn, I keep getting interrupted, people. And, if you go to find information about the CDC, you're going to find whatever's pushed up at the top of Google. And unfortunately, a lot of people believe in things like TED Talks. And a lot of people take, it's UCLA, I'm going to believe that. But I think a critical eye should be turned right at places that are seemingly the most trusted. Anyways, we're we're having problems getting Angela. She had a bad connection too, so I'm not sure she's going to make it back in.
Yeah, because of course she's she is kind of an expert on the flu shot.
Anytime we have a hot button issue, all of a sudden there are like 100 problems with Sky. You know, you talk about porn, we could have a 3-hour show, no problem. When you talk about, you know, whether or not you should get a flu shot, then all hell breaks loose. And, you know, I'm just saying neither of our opinions should be considered or as fact. Obviously, I think people are going to take the information, and you have to go and do the research yourself. And, you know, don't just look at, you know, university studies. I think you need to go a little deeper. I think you need to look at the opposing view, hear what they have to say, and then make a decision. You know, we're not doctors. We're not giving medical advice. So I don't want to go that route. But, you know, if you're looking at just what two individuals do, and we're doing it very differently, you know, each year as the years go by. Angela, are you here finally?
Yeah.
You got an awful connection though, Angela.
Hold on. Just one moment. How about now?
Better connection. And Stabby says, you know, he says, you know, quite a few people die. Millions of people die worldwide. And Stabby gets his every year. Now Beppe says he has he sued the people that he went to workers' comp about his flu shot. Now, Angela, what do you have? I know you're kind of an anti-vaxxer. I could be wrong on this.
I don't like that label. I like safe vaccine.
Okay.
I support safe vaccine. That's what I would say. Because I'm not a criminal. Now, if Pepe said to someone, that must have been outside of the state, because in 1986, there was the Federal Vaccine Injury Compensation Act that was enacted, and that left all the pharmaceutical companies off the hook. I have a child that was injured by vaccines, and I could not sue Merck because of this act that happened in 1986.
Well, you know what?
Shot.
He may have.
Go ahead.
You know, some jobs may have mandated that you get a flu shot, even if it was not
That's
mandated.
illegal.
Yeah, that might have been. Who knows? I'm not sure what his story is, but I've heard stories like that.
Yes.
So there were companies that were sued because they forced their employees to get flu shots, and so they, you know, then there's that kind of chaos.
I can see where that would happen, but you cannot sue the pharmaceutical company. Now, about a flu shot, let's say you really want to get that flu shot. Which flu shot do you get to make your buy? The region that you live in, because it's guesswork. They guess it's going to be the H1N1. So you need to get the right vaccine for that. And if you guys can take this down, it's called thimerosal. THIMEROSAL, thimerosal. Mm-hmm. That's in the flu shot. But if you go to the Department of Health and you ask for a thimerosal-free flu shot, that is the best flu shot that you can get at this time. There's less risk of a reaction. What do you think about that? Going to the Department of Health, you would need to call ahead of time. Sometimes they have to order it, and it'd be the same cost as a regular vaccine. If you go to your private doctor and you ask for that thimerosal-free flu shot, it's going to be at least 200-300% more, if not more than that. It's just more prudent to go to your Department of Health. Does that answer your question? Because I think I meandered a little bit.
You meandered a lot.
Yeah.
Do you get the?
I'll tell you this.
Do you get the flu shot?
You're coming in really choppy.
Yeah. And do you get the flu shot?
Okay, let me try moving the hair. Is that better?
Yes, but have you ever had the flu shot?
My information is so good. You go to the Department of Health and you ask for a thimerosal-free flu shot. That means that thimerosal has not been used in the production
Okay.
in time of said flu shot.
Okay. And thimerosal, there's a good video actually that breaks that down. Oh, God damn it! What is going on tonight?
Who's calling you?
Flu shot. That's a hot topic.
Jimmy Lethal.
Who's calling you?
Jimmy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't want to take the call right now.
Can he just wait like 2 or 3 minutes?
It's too chaotic. We're already having all these bad. I have another video that I kind of want to play that shows how deception early on in the flu shots and vaccine game happened, but I guess if it's for vaccines, I don't want to veer too far off the topic, so I might play that another time.
Well, is it the one about the history of thimerosal where it was called mercanthiolate?
Well, in 1971, there were, the news, back when there was still a semblance of news, actually came out with a report that admitted how there were cancer-causing agents in the vaccines, and they knew about it.
Thimerosal is a toxin.
Yes, yeah, and thimerosal was named, so there was a whole to-do about that. Hey, Brian, should we play another video or no?
Let's play another video. Go ahead.
Let's watch this for a few minutes, see where it goes.
This is a sensational,
I have a
ridiculous
question afterwards.
clip because they just say these things with a straight face, with no reaction, and then they balance them out with just equal time of regurgitated propaganda about how great vaccines are, how good the government is, and how much they're trying to protect you, and especially children.
Today, doctors at the Federal Communicable Disease Center acknowledge the flu vaccine in the recommended dosage is ineffective, while in a larger dose it can be harmful. However, the flu vaccine is still recommended for old people and the chronically ill.
Right here, they just admit that the government continues to push and propagate vaccines, tell you have to take them, you should take them, you're a bad person if you don't. Even though they admit that these vaccines are ineffective, they admit that they suppressed reports from scientists who found that they were ineffective. They wouldn't publish these studies for over a decade.
Last month, a Senate subcommittee headed by Abraham Ribicoff charged that the federal government wasn't doing a good enough job of informing the public about ineffective vaccines.
Scientists at the Division of Biologic Standards test vaccines for their potency and safety before licensing them for public use. However, the division does not determine the effectiveness of the vaccine. That is left to the manufacturers. A case in point is the influenza vaccine. 4 scientists in charge of work on the flu vaccine during the 1960s found it to be ineffective, said they refused to give it to their own families. 2 were transferred to other work, a third left the division. And over the entire 10-year period, not one word of their unfavorable findings was allowed to be published.
And worse, they admit that they continued to administer the vaccines even when they knew they had a cancer agent contaminant in them.
But a more serious case involving the relationship between the leaders of the division and their scientists involves the adenovirus vaccine, a vaccine given to thousands of American soldiers to prevent certain cold-like symptoms. When it was shown that the vaccine contained a contaminant which caused cancer in laboratory animals, it was taken off the market.
Did you hear that? Let's play it again.
That the vaccine contained a contaminant which caused cancer.
Did you hear that? They admitted that these vaccines have a cancer-causing agent. They knew about it, and the government sat on this information.
But that was 3 years after the division's own scientists had pointed out the danger. Dr. Murray justifies the use of the vaccine by saying it took 3 years to examine the evidence against it.
It was more important to use the vaccines than to take them off the market and remove the agent.
And they were still administering it to the soldiers and saying it was just more important to give out the vaccines than to not vaccinate.
It was more important to use the vaccines than to take them off the market and remove the agent. But since the agent couldn't be removed, there was no other course.
Still administering it to the soldiers.
Thus, for 3 years, American troops were injected with a cold-preventing vaccine, which was causing cancer in laboratory animals.
And the most incredible part, did they find about it just now in this 1971 TV clip? No. These newspaper articles show that they knew about this at least in 1965. That's how long it took them to tell the public and how long it took them to get it out of the vaccine.
Well, and it goes on, but you get the point. There's a lot of deception. What were you going to ask, Angela? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh.
I've now forgotten it because I was listening to the video. But we could bring up the anthrax vaccine that
No.
use
I don't want to. I don't
in
want
the
to go
military.
Too far. No, I want to keep this strictly to the flu.
President Clinton, he passed a law that if you do not get the vaccinations in the armed forces, then you're kicked out. It's not a good thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, and we can go into what they make them take in the armed forces. I mean, my father, I think, at times was given, when he was in the Air Force, for keeping soldiers up later, he was given, I think, a form of meth. And they also, they gave it to the fighter. They called them pep pills. And
the Korean War or the...
Well, Vietnam, they were doing that in Vietnam. I mean, I don't know when they stopped giving those out. And Joe and I are going to do a show about Adderall, and I think how the military also maybe advised it. But getting back to the flu shot, I mean, for me, I've been taking it, religiously every year for 3 years, and I have not gotten the flu. So,
well, that's good for you. I got the flu shot. I had 3 surgeries afterwards. My daughter, she had an extreme vaccine reaction. But I think it's important to work the most safe flu shot that there is, and that's at the Department of Health. But you have to ask specifically for a thimerosal-free flu shot. That's the one to get, and I would want you to get the best one, the least toxic. That's it.
All right.
Could you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I absolutely hear you.
Do you want me to spell that again?
No.
No. But I'm just going to say this, and I have to get myself to bed because I'm getting exhausted. If you guys want to keep on continuing to talk about that. I think people have to make up their own mind and do the study on their own. I mean, and I'm going to look at it further to see what are the best... What are the best ways of preventing colds and flus and other things like that?
You probably have a whole lot of different natural remedies and obviously keeping the guts clean. But there's all kinds of ways.
Washing your hands, that's number one.
Yeah, keeping clean is definitely number one. Yeah.
It is. A sterile environment. Wash those hands. Cough into your arm. Back away from people that are coughing. These are common sense things to do. But again, I mean, there isn't a study, but that thimerosal-free flu shot is the best flu shot out there. It's the least toxic. I mean, if you're going to get this flu shot, go get that one. I'm just saying that to be helpful.
If there is an antigen to thimerosal, it's probably when Brian drinks 4 5-hour energy drinks and lets a nasty fart out.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I mean, I do take quite a bit of those.
Your boys have to go there, farts.
Yeah.
Angela destroyed her persona from 2011 to 2019.
What do you mean?
That was a Debbie comment. I'm just reading the chat board.
Well, she just never listened to me before. I've always said, if you need to get or feel like you have to get a flu shot, go to the Department of Health and get a thimerosal-free flu shot. That's the least toxic. My aim is that people are healthy. And if they choose to get the flu shot, they should get the best one out there for the best value, too. It's the same shot that you would get at your private doctors. It will just cost you maybe $200 less.
Debbie got the flu shot in 2014 and was set to go on a family reunion on a Saturday, but fell deathly ill.
Well, it's true. There's part of the virus in that flu shot. And that's partially, they use thimerosal as a preservative in the flu shot as an adjunct. And most of the vaccines, the multi-dose vaccines, they filter out the thimerosal, but of course the mercury is still in there. It's 49.6% mercury. But in flu shot, it's not filtered at all. It's in there full strength. I mean, ask the nurse that has the vaccine in her hand, the flu shot. She will tell you.
Angela,
I think making a good choice.
Thank you for calling in on this topic. Yes. So you might agree or disagree. I'm not sure which. But like and subscribe. Leave comments. Tell us your experience with the flu if you want. And listen for more transparency and merit. Brian, do you have any final thoughts before?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, give us, and if there are any, like when you're listening to this on YouTube, if anyone is out there listening to on YouTube, give us a link or, make a comment. And if there's any information for or against the flu shot that we missed, drop a link and tell us information because we'd love to hear it.
Absolutely. Continue the conversation. I bet you could get some people to call in on this.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Angela.
You're welcome.